Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry Basalai and thanks for joining. Today we're going to dive into the critical but very interesting journey of ensuring service reliability, from service level indicators to AI-driven excellence. Um, a few words about myself. I'm a software engineer with over 15 years of experience in building scalable backend web services and full stack web applications. I'm currently working at Meta London, and apparently, I'm very passionate about quality and service reliability. Here is an outline of our webinar. Today, we're going to take a comprehensive look at the foundations and the future of service reliability, from the basics of SLIs, SLOs, and SLAs to the exciting frontier of AI-driven excellence. All right, let's get started. So, why does reliability matter? Service reliability is not merely a technical aspect. It's a commitment to our users. It's about promising that our services will be there when they need them. This is the essence of building trust, and trust is at the core of every successful product. Users now expect services to be consistently accessible, agile, and high performing. Even minor disruptions or performance dips can lead to substantial inconveniences for users and potentially harm providers' reputation and profitability. Let's start with the basics. Service level indicators, objectives, and agreements are the pillars of reliability. These aren't just metrics and agreements, they are promises to our users, building trust in every interaction. Service providers rely on these tools to both monitor and optimize their performance, set concrete objectives, and establish transparent expectations. Let's take a closer look at the first pillar, service level indicators. Service level indicators are crucial performance metrics employed to observe and monitor the health and availability of a particular service. Essentially, they serve as a barometer for gauging the performance and reliability of any service provided in the tech environment. SLIs exist in various forms depending on the type of service and what precisely needs to be measured. Some of the most common examples of SLIs include aspects like availability, the measure of system uptime, error rate, the percentage of requests that result in error, and response time, the speed at which a system responds to a request. But these are just tip of the iceberg. There are several other metrics that might be used as SLIs depending on the requirements and complexities of the service in question. So service providers leverage SLIs not only to identify existing problems that may be hindering performance, but also to gain a more comprehensive understanding of service performance. Moreover, SLIs play a pivotal role in tracking performance trends over time. They function as a service provider's log, recording every aspect of service performance and providing historical record. Furthermore, SLIs offer a concrete baseline for assessing service performance, introducing objectivity by presenting hard data that accurately reflect the service current state. SLIs additionally function as instruments for identifying areas in need of improvement. By highlighting both the strengths and weaknesses of a service, they enable providers to understand where their efforts should be directed to enhance overall service quality. Choosing the right SLIs for your service is a fundamental step towards achieving reliability and exceeding customers' expectations. To choose the most meaningful SLIs for your service, start by understanding the customer's needs and expectations. For instance, if you provide a video streaming service, customers might value metrics such as video loading time, playback buffering, and overall video quality. Understanding these preferences allow you to choose SLI that directly align with your users' expectations. Second, the architecture and infrastructure of your service play a crucial role in determining the most relevant SLIs. For example, if your service relies heavily on a distributed network of servers, metrics like latency and response time across different geographic regions and locations become highly relevant. On the other hand, for data-intense service, tracking data processing speed and storage capacity might be more critical. Your service's overarching business objectives should be also influence your choice of SLIs. For instance, if your primary business objective is to enhance customer retention, SLIs related to service availability and responsiveness might take precedence. On the other hand, if you focus on scaling your service to handle increased user demand, metrics related to resource utilization and capacity planning become more critical. Choose SLIs that are quantifiable and easy measurable. Quantifiable SLIs such as error rate, response time, or throughput provide accurate data that can easily compare with SLO targets and SLI commitments. This data-driven approach ensures transparency and facilitates database decision-making. Choose SLIs that are actionable and directly influence your ability to make improvements to your service. For instance, while monitoring global internet connectivity might be interesting, it may not directly influence your ability to optimize service performance. Instead, focusing on metrics like server response time or database query speed provides actionable data to improve overall service responsiveness. And last but not least, while it's essential to choose comprehensive SLIs that provide holistic view of your service performance, it's equally critical to strike a balance to avoid overwhelming yourself with excessive complexity and resource requirements. Avoid choosing SLIs that require significant investments in infrastructure or result in an impractical workload for your team. Okay, moving further to service level objectives. While service level indicators serve as performance gauges, service level objectives can be regarded as performance metric targets. SLOs are quantifiable objectives that providers strive to achieve based on related SLIs. Essentially, they bridge the gap between the theoretical realm of performance metrics and the practical realm of service delivery. SLOs typically expressed as percentages and are employed to define specific performance and availability objectives. The number of nines notation is usually used to define SLOs. For instance, consider a cloud storage service. An SLO for such a service might be formulated as 99.9% uptime. This implies that service aims for a minimum of 99.9% availability, allowing only a fraction of time for potential downtimes. To give you an idea of what is the difference between 2, 3, 4, 5 nines, let's take a look at downtime per year allowed by each of them. For 2 nines, it's about 3.5 days. For 3 nines, it's less than 9 hours. For 4 nines, it's 52 minutes. And for 5 nines, it's only about 5 minutes per year. That's why the foundation of any successful SLO strategy lies in setting realistic and attainable objectives. Ambitious SLOs like 5 nines can drive innovation and continuous improvement, yet on the other hand, setting targets that are impractical or beyond the capabilities of the service can become a cause of disappointment and disengagement among teams. So, to establish realistic SLOs, service providers must evaluate historical performance data, industry benchmarks, and customer expectations. It is a good practice to apply data-driven approach to goal settings by analyzing past performance. The provider can identify strong and weak areas of the service. Benchmarking against industry peers is another effective methodology that offers insights for improvement and helps keep the service at industry standards. One more useful tip that helps set and maintain effective objectives is regularly collecting and analyzing customer feedback. It helps ensure that SLOs align with the customer expectations. Besides, it's vitally important to align SLOs with available resources and infrastructure to make them achievable and realistic. For instance, startup with limited resources might set initial SLOs that are more modest, with room for growth as the service matures. Moving on to the third pillar of the reliability, which is service level agreements. Service level agreements, SLAs, act as a bridge between service providers and their customers. They define the quality of service expected and the consequences if the agreed upon service levels are not met. Let's explore the strategies for crafting effective SLAs. One of the most crucial aspects of the effective SLA is clarity. Language should be concise and easily understandable, avoiding technical jargon or slangs that could confuse customers. Customers should be able to grasp the terms, expectations, and consequences outlined in the SLA without ambiguity. Second of all, it's essential to set expectations that are both achievable and realistic. Overpromising service levels can lead to disappointment, and in this regard, service providers should align SLAs with their actual capabilities and resources to ensure that they can consistently meet the commitments outlined. An effective SLA should include measurable metrics that reflect the actual performance of the service. Whether it's uptime percentages, response times, or other rates, these metrics should be quantifiable and provide a clear picture of the service reliability. While SLAs provide clear expectations, they should also be flexible enough to accommodate unforeseen circumstances, including provisions for exceptional situations or force majeure events that can contribute to maintain fairness and customer trust even in challenging times. Last but not least, SLAs should provide clear communication channels for customers to report issues or seek support. Rapid response and resolution times for customer inquiries or complaints should be outlined to ensure that customers feel heard and valued. Besides seeking the best practices for crafting a compelling SLA, it comes in handy to look at possible consequences of neglecting the aforementioned strategies. Thus, to make SLA a stronghold of trust both for providers and their customers, it's important to oversee the following pitfalls. Perhaps the most common pitfall is overpromising in attempt to win customers. While it might seem like a shortcut to gain business, it can lead to severe consequences when service levels are not met. Using vague or ambiguous language in SLAs can lead to misunderstanding and disputes. Clear and specific terms are essential for avoiding confusion. SLAs should be tailored to meet the unique needs of the customers and nature of the service. Naturally, ignoring customers' preferences and requirements can lead to dissatisfaction. If SLAs lack precise metrics and mechanisms for measurement and reporting, it becomes challenging to assess whether the service is meeting the agreed upon levels. Here are a couple of examples. Netflix SLA guarantees 4 nines uptime, 99.99% uptime. And in case of any disruptions, customers receive a credit for downtime. This clear commitment to high availability certainly builds trust with their subscribers. Another example is Amazon Web Services, AWS, which provides an SLA for its cloud services that includes uptime guarantees, data durability, and support response times. This ensures that businesses relying on AWS can confidently deploy applications and services. Salesforce SLA offers uptime percentages and response time for their cloud-based CRM services. If the SLAs are not met, customers become eligible for service credits, reinforcing their commitment to performance. And now let's take a quick look at the future of reliability. Artificial intelligence and machine learning tools have caused a big change in service management. They empower service providers to harness massive amount of data, analyze patterns, and make real-time decisions that dramatically enhance performance and customers' experience. Service providers can now address issues proactively, optimize their process, and drive continuous improvements, given the opportunity not only to meet the SLAs but to exceed them. The technologies have pushed the standards of reliability to unprecedented level. Traditionally, SLIs require manual tracking of performance metrics and responding to incidents reactively. With the integration of smart prediction methods, this approach becomes obsolete. These technologies make it possible to switch to a predictive and proactive incident handling. They can process vast amounts of data and identify trends and anomalies that used to go unnoticed or predict potential issues before they escalate, allowing providers to take preemptive action. For instance, AI-powered systems can detect subtle patterns in network traffic that could indicate potential outage of performance degradation. Companies all over the world are actively implementing AI and ML-powered systems to automate um, uninterrupted service provisioning and evaluate performance, and technology giants are trying to find their niche in providing data-driven tools for commercial use. For example, Google's AutoML is aimed at making AI tools accessible to every business. It allows creating custom machine learning models for various applications without in-depth knowledge of the field. Businesses can effortlessly apply this technology to their SLIs by creating models trained to analyze historical performance data and predict when service degradation might occur. With these insights, providers can optimize the resources and avert potential problems, ensuring SLAs are consistently met. Google's aim at democratizing machine learning through AutoML is a great step at making AI and ML an indispensable part of service provisioning. Another example is Netflix, that has been extensively using machine learning algorithms in applications to its content delivery network, striving to improve the efficiency of content delivery. Leveraging ML and AI tools, Netflix has set a high bar as a fast and reliable streaming service. By monitoring SLIs such as video buffering and playback quality, Netflix adapts its CDN in real time and maintain a high quality viewing experience. This approach ensures a seamless and uninterrupted service for Netflix viewers. AI and ML holds immerse promise, yet they pose certain risks that service providers must be aware of. Here are the key points that you need to keep in mind if you're planning to implement data-driven solutions for your service. First, using AI and ML for handling customer data or sensitive information requires elevated privacy and security. Operating large amounts of data usually implies using cloud services or third-party resources. It is vitally important to implement all necessary measures to protect data from breaches and misuse that may instantly ruin customers' trust. Even though technology giants such as Google are trying to make AI and ML instruments approachable, it's still not a simple and cheap task to implement those tools into existing systems. The efficiency and value of the technologies used largely depend on their expertise and resources, and in order to achieve best results, providers must perform extensive testing and ensure seamless transition. Algorithms can be biased if trained on biased data, which in its turn can lead to inconsistent, incorrect, and insufficient output. This is especially important in services that impact user experiences. So providers must ensure that the algorithms are correctly trained and tested. On top of that, AI and ML tools need continuous maintenance and human oversight to track any fluctuations in quality. Wrapping up, today we explored the foundations of service reliability, SLIs, SLOs, SLAs, key considerations and best practices for selecting relevant SLIs, measuring and enhancing services reliability with SLOs, crafting effective SLAs for building customer trust, and the future of reliability, AI, and machine learning. Before we move to Q&A, additionally, I recommend you to have a look at this article. Beside the technical aspects, the key to smooth operations is still the people. Workplace where everyone is committed to making things work, communicating effectively, and collaborating during challenging times, sets the foundation for dependable services. I have experienced many services reliability challenges and witnessed firsthand how human touch can make all the difference. Despite rapid development and spread of AI and machine learning tools, in today's world, service reliability is not just about flashy tech. Uh, Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, engineers and specialists, it is also about everyday commitment, conventions, and teamwork. Uh, by focusing on these aspects, you can ensure that service is rock solid. Uh, all right, now we can move to Q&A. I can see that there is already a question in the comments. Are SLOs something defined after go live or better planned during design and building phases? It's excellent question. Uh, so to be brief here, of course you should plan for better results, for your service to be reliable in 100% time, available uh, through the year to all users, but it's not always possible. It's better to be um, uh, to be realistic and set goals at the beginning that are probably less um, uh, less what the word I'm looking for, um, not that high and maybe not so ambitious, and then step by step improve them. Usually you will notice what the use for your services, what the lot of your services after you go live. You can spend a lot of time trying to build something perfect and something really reliable, approaching reliability of 4 or 5 nines, but it's not always needed. You will see your load in a couple of months of usage, and then you adjust your goals uh, retroactively. It's better to invest your resources. It's better to invest your efforts into quick MVP with something that users need, instead of trying to make it ideal from the first iteration. So uh, as always, iterative approach of your service, of your system, is like is the best choice here, and I recommend you to think about reliability, but not strive towards very ambitious and challenging goals before you go live. And then once you receive first customer feedback, once you see the usage and first data points flow into your log systems, you can adjust them accordingly. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, everyone. Here my contact details. I will also share these slides in the chat and on the Codementor side. Any questions? Happy to help, and happy to discuss reliability challenges with you. Um, See you later and have a great rest of the weekend. Bye.